All right, what's up, guys? Check, check, 1 2 1 2. This is Chris with the BODDAMN channel, and I am here in my office. Well lit, dude. Look at this. I'm just chilling here in the office. I'm about to do a Q&A. So if you're watching right now, please say hi. I need to do the check on the microphone. Got a little blue snowball mic right here. It's good to see everybody, and if you have a chance to put a question down while it's live, I'm probably going to see it, and I can help you out and maybe answer it for you. Now, these questions that I got come directly from Instagram, and like I said, if you have a question regarding fitness or the active lifestyle or maybe mental fitness, spiritual fitness, whatever, please put it in the comment feed and I'll definitely see it. So let's go with the very first question that comes from A141.S, which is, what is your height and weight? This came from Instagram. So my height is about 6 foot tall. My weight is around 194-ish pounds. And then when I'm done with the bulk, it'll probably be 190. I might be like 192, 193. And then when I'm done with the bulk, it'll be about 196, maybe 8, something like that. But yeah, that's about where I am. I've gotten as high. The highest I've ever been was around 226, and I was like massive, like super big, like Dwayne Johnson, rock big, like really big. That was back in college. And then the lightest I've been in the past, let's say 20 years, has been 173 pounds. So it's kind of like the big swing. I'm like in the middle of all that. And that's where I find most of my comfort at this point. So welcome to everyone. Hopefully everything sounds good. I see some people in the feed here. Heather the reseller, and we have Rovina Singh, who has a question, by the way. So Rovina says, is it true that you are meant to keep your back straight during push-ups? For the most part, anytime that you do push-ups, yeah, you should be in a planked position. Your back should be straight. So I'm trying to think of any other push-up. Decline deficit push-ups, decline deficit, incline deficit. Yeah, I mean, they're all straight back. I mean, you shouldn't inversely curve your back and you shouldn't round your back. So yeah, they should always be, straight back. That's always what I have done. Now, even if you're on your knees and doing a push-up, you're still going to have a straight back doing that as well. So I hope that answers your question, Rovina. Okay, so I'm now going to go into a couple more Instagram questions that I screenshotted here. Let me bypass all the pictures of me sunbathing outside first. But yeah, if you catch the story on Instagram, you should follow me on Instagram, by the way, at BODDAMN, @ and then BODDAMN, BODDAMN, and you can kind of see all the goofiness that goes on behind the scenes. Okay, so here are some of the questions that came from Instagram. This one's from Heather. I think Heather is in the feed right now, and it says weekly meals with a kind of like crying face. I do eat weekly meals. I eat daily meals, Heather. If the question is, what are your weekly meals? I think that would be better answered with, what do I eat when I am in certain phases, for example? Well, there's 3 distinct phases that I might be on at any given time. One would be a bulking phase, which is what I am on right now. And in that phase, I want to be in a caloric surplus by the end of the day, meaning the amount of calories that I've taken in will exceed the amount of calories that I have expended throughout the day. So, and that means taking into account working out, cardio, all the Strela stuff, then I should still have calories left over, which means if I keep doing that day over day over day, I'll have a, caloric surplus for 7 days, whatever, months, whatever I need to gain X amount of pounds that I am looking for. So yeah, now if I am in another phase, which is the RIP phase, which is like getting a little bit more lean, I'm more apt to maybe curve the diet more towards the like heavy vegetarian vegan side, which makes my body run very optimal. But I can get into low ranges of body fat very quickly, which means also that lateral movements and ligaments and all that kind of stuff could be compromised when I'm doing things that involve multiplanar movements such as surfing or mountain biking or jumping in the air or ledge dropping off mountain bikes. Like that kind of stuff takes an impact, and you do need body fat to sustain that kind of stuff, and strength training in the gym. But that's another reason why I might be on that other style of eating for my weekly meals. And then the last one is called just a cruiser meal program. It's basically not a deficit of calories and not a surplus of calories, but more of just what I need. And I tweak it as the weeks go on. Like if I go, I kind of feel a little pudgy this week, then maybe for the next week, I would scale back a little bit. But that's how that goes. My weekly meals are mostly clean in general. I will be eating, my proteins are pretty much vegan protein powders, tofu, anything soy related. What else? Let's think here. Oh yeah, eggs and fish. So the fish would be like a salmon, tuna, or sardines, which I recently started putting back into my diet during the bulk because I want to see how my body reacts to that kind of stuff. But I typically don't eat pork, chicken, beef, or anything like that. Just typically. I tend to get really big if I do that. So, and it stays in your body a whole lot. There's many could argue that there's a lot of inflammation when you take in things like that. So I'm not all about inflammation. I don't really want it. But I don't think anybody can truly escape it with any kind of diet, except for certain diets, like maybe the Mediterranean one, maybe possibly the vegan diet, but the Mediterranean decade over decade has kind of proven to be a little superior, I guess, but that could be argued too, I guess. But yeah, I eat mostly clean to answer your entire question of weekly meals. Like it would never be real dirty unless I have about 2 dirty meals a week, meaning I'll take the original calories I would have eaten, and then I probably stack on an extra 50% more, and I'll have whatever kind of meal I would want to have. So that could look like, box of donuts. It could be like pizza. It could be anything I want, and I usually do about 2 of those a week. Large Flipping Family says, how much time daily do you put in the gym? All right, so it's a really good question. And how much time daily? This is what I like about my workout programs, because I've done like every gambit of workout programs possible. I've done nearly 7 days on and pretty much no days off. I've done 6 days on, like 1 day off. I've done one body part a day. I've done a lot of things. And so I've experimented with nearly every single program. And the one that I like the best has a lot of recuperation, which is good. That means you can spend more time with like your family, doing other things, hopefully going outside, like being active and like chasing the Strella feeling, like all that kind of stuff. If you guys don't know, I have a brand called the Strella. Oh, there it is. Look at all those hats right up there. A bunch of Strella hats. And that is a company or a clothing company that is based upon finding your ultimate flow state, which will not be found in a gym, and it won't be found, doing things like running, for example. It's usually found doing a little bit more extreme activities or things that you're not really accustomed to, and then you kind of just get sucked into this weird space where time kind of just is not an issue anymore, and you're really enjoying what you're doing for what it is. It's hard to explain until you've really been there, and so I decided to build a clothing brand or a whole, I guess, fitness brand based upon that one feeling. And that's what the Strella is. So to answer the question, how much time daily do I put into the gym? I do 4 days a week in the gym. And each day, if I didn't talk to like a million people at the gym, which I love talking to people at the gym because they're like my best friends, are really cool. And I just love all the people at the gym that I work out at. If I didn't have to do any of those things, my workouts would be about 1 hour and 30 minutes each one. Now, you might be thinking, that's a long time, but it's a whole lot better than going 5 or 6 times a week and all that transit time and getting prepped and all that kind of stuff, getting warmed up. I think it's much easier to get warmed up for 4 workouts rather than get warmed up for 6 workouts, and 6 workouts is a lot more time commitment any way you look at it with the transit time and everything like that. So how much time daily do I put into the gym? If I didn't talk to everybody, 1.5 hours, 4 times a week. It's usually Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and I take Wednesday and the entire weekend off. But not technically off. I do other things like mountain biking and skateboarding and like all this other fun stuff that I like to do. So I hope that answers your question, Large Flipping Family. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Yeah, because I never really did the sound check thing. Okay. Heather the Reseller says, I love it when you show your weekly meals on IG, silly. Okay, yeah, so I do show weekly cool stuff on my Instagram. You should go check it out, especially the stories. Not so much, the posts are cool too, but the stories are where it's at. I really try to build cool stories. And I even talked about this live show on a story, hoping that people would come to it and ask me questions. It is what it is. It's a small kind of channel at this point, but it's going to be a big channel one day. It will. I'm confident. So, okay. Yeah, there's some cool recipes and stuff that I show on my Instagram stories, as well as behind the scenes and like what kind of goes on in my life and everything like that. Tyrone Jenkins Daquan, what's the best way to lose fat on your chest? Some say gynecomastia, it's gynecomastia, and others say it's fat. The real way to you can't really fat blast any one area of the body. So like if you are going to lose fat, it's going to be losing kind of in proportion to where it is. So like it'll all go down at this steady rate. And for men, it'll typically still hover around the abdominal region, the upper thigh, and the side of, or the abdominal region, including the front and the sides, and even the back. And then for the guys, it's also the upper thigh as well. So that's where it's going to show. And some males also show it in the face. So the question is, how do you know if it's gynecomastia or if it's fat? The easiest way is, start losing fat. It's pretty easy to do. The easiest, most effective way to lose fat, but if you're not careful, you could get injured by doing this. But the easiest and most proven way to lose fat in a shortest amount of time will be through HIIT, high intensity interval training, HIIT. Now, it's nothing new. And it's not like cutting edge by any means, but it's the easiest way to lose fat and throw your body into like a really good fat burning kind of furnace, assuming your diet is good. See, these are all these little factors that play into that kind of role. To really build yourself into like a fat burning furnace, you have to get a couple things right. And one of those things is your diet has to be good. Number two is your sleep has to be good, because if your sleep sucks, then your cortisol production is likely high. You're stressed out. That's no fun. So your sleep has to be in check. You have to take active steps daily to reduce stress. So if you watch my Instagram stories, you notice that on every single morning I am meditating and I am doing things like that, because I want to make sure that my mental game is like on point. So none of this stuff takes like, I need to go to a meditation clinic, blah, blah, blah. No, you don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. You just go on YouTube and you put guided meditation, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, and you can find some really cool stuff that'll get your stress levels down. You can look at breathing exercises, and things like Wim Hof methods. But all these things are geared to reducing your stress on an everyday basis. Guys, this world is full of distraction. It's full of things that are going to take you away from your dreams, your aspirations, and your goals, especially physical goals. And it's up to us as, individual people to start realizing, do you want to be in control or not? That's basically what it comes down to. If you don't care to be in control, do exactly what you're doing right now. Don't change a single thing. But if you do desire to have control and you do desire to, go, I wonder what it's like to be fit. I wonder what it's like to be a little bit more confident or maybe fit into some cool clothes. Then by all means, start attacking fitness from different, facets, right? So for the person that was like, is my chest fat gynecomastia or is it chest fat? I don't think you're really going to know until you get on a strength building routine and a fat building routine. You want to use the bench press and some, exercises like that to really build the muscle under the chest. And then you want to reduce the fat that's on top of all that and see what comes out and see, through a mirror, what do you have under there? Because you might not know because, it's just covered up right now. I think everybody has the power to become almost like a Michelangelo statue, right? But a lot of people kind of just chisel a little bit. They get discouraged and they're like, eh. And then before they know it, they're like finishing life out and they never got to see what the blob of clay really looks like. And I think a lot of people that do figure out what the blob of clay looks like are just trying so hard to convey to other people the feeling of what's under the clay. And it's a terrific feeling. It's control, right? And everyone wants that control. I like it because I can bulk up, I can rip down, I can do whatever I want, and I can do it on a flip of a switch, which it could be arguably one of the best gifts ever. If you think about it, it could be even harder than making money. Like it's hard to do, but if you know how to attack it, then it becomes not only fun, but it becomes easier because you see results and you feel good about it. Okay, lettuce and tomatoes and bacon and stuff. Now, let's talk about some other questions that are coming through the feed. I'm going to hunt through the feed right now. So if you have a question you're dying to ask me, like this is the perfect time to put it in the feed. And let me shout out Heather, the reseller that super chatted me $1.99. That's good enough for a cup of espresso, which I will buy tomorrow. Thank you so much for that donation. That is so nice of you, Heather. And hopefully I will see you this summer at some point. I've met Heather before in real life. She's cool. But maybe I'll see you this summer. And what we talked about in the DM, I'll try to push that forward with the team and we'll see what we can get done. Okay, promise. She wants a fitness meetup, basically. Heather just wants all this fitness stuff and she wants everyone else to plan it. No, I'll see what I can do because I really want to do it. So, okay. Oh, Kristen Frank Fitzgerald. Hey, I've met Kristen before in real life. She loves my stories as well. Thank you, Kristen. Much love. Okay. Let's talk about what else. Okay, what's in here? I'm going to tell you a couple of cheats that I can maybe regarding diet. That seems to be like the biggest one that we can talk about. But let me go with Anthony S.'s question first, and I'll get to my like diet stuff. Anthony S says, if I wanted more definition all around, weighing around 164 with about a 12% body fat, should I cut? This all depends because so if you're 164 at 12% body fat, like another number that I need to know, and that is the height, right? Because at 164 at 5'5" looks a lot different than 164 at like 5'11", for example. So it depends on what your height is, and it depends on what you're looking for. If you want more definition, a lot of times you can alter, where you put the muscle, but you just have to know how to do it. So a lot of times that could be the definition that you're looking for. 12% body fat is not bad if you're a male, but 10% is pretty cool too. Don't get me wrong. I think right now I'm cruising. Let's take a look at this. All right, so this is my body right now. It's not terribly like I don't have a suntan or anything, but it's not. I think I'm probably cruising at about 11.5 right now. Maybe it could be a 10.8. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I knows that in a month I target to be around 9. 12% is not bad for a male. In fact, at 12%, you're considered to be in shape at 12%. But if you want more definition, I always like to look at the body and go, how can we aesthetically improve this body? Without considering the cut first or anything like that. Just looking at the body and going, how can we aesthetically improve this body to where with any kind of clothing or even clothing off, it looks badass. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's really important because aesthetically pleasing is just one of those things that leads to more confidence. Like who doesn't want more confidence? Like think about it for a second. It's not being cocky and it's not being full of yourself. It's about being proud of what you've done. It's about being, if you go into a crowd of people, it's about being noticed more than maybe other people naturally, right? You don't have to do any work. It just happens. So there's nothing wrong with being, having some more confidence through aesthetics. Everyone chases it. It's on the cover of every magazine. Anytime you see some house flipping show, it's like no surprise, like everybody's in good shape and they look good and they're all like, they look good. Aesthetics is just the world that we live in right now. People take care of themselves and people groom themselves and then people have really good aesthetics and body proportions and you notice those kind of things. So I would want to see first what that looks like 12% at 164 because 12% at 164 might look great. But let's say 12% at 168 with those extra 4 pounds in certain places in the body might look phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, all right, more questions. Okay, so let me talk about this diet thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about. And if you would do me a huge favor, do me a solid, would you just hit the like button? I see 13 people watching this right now. One day we're going to have thousands and thousands of people, guys, thousands. And I won't be able to get like everybody's question. So right now, while this while this workout channel is a little bit like a gamete right now, right? It's like a tiny little gamete and it's splitting. It hasn't become this like thing yet, And so hit the like button is all I'm going to say, please. So let's talk about this diet thing I want to talk to you about. All right. So one of the easiest things that you can do that helped me a lot was when I wanted to start attacking my diet. It can get kind of daunting, right? Now I've been doing good diet things forever, but I can see on a normal person's standpoint how like, what am I supposed to eat and how do I prepare it? How much time? Where do I get this food from? Can get very kind of scary. So one of the first things that you should do, okay, these are the first 2 things you should do if you want to start attacking diet. One is to be adequately hydrated all the time. While I just said that, I realized I need some water. I'm not going to go get it, but like I just started thinking like I adequately hydrated. Boom. I started thinking like I haven't had enough in the past hour. It's the first thing that went through my mind. So adequate hydration has been known to increase natural body metabolism by 10 or 15%. So if you're burning, I don't know, 220 calories resting, imagine just naturally burning 240 or 250 just because you're adequately hydrated. So that's what I'm kind of talking about. Be adequately hydrated. And some people would ask, the next question was like, how do you know what adequately hydrated feels like? Like, what do you know? And for me, it's when you go to the bathroom and it's just a little bit yellow. All right. So that's when I know, like, okay, that's adequate hydration. Now, if it's clear, then that means I'm just pushing just everything out, pushing probably electrolytes out, vitamins, minerals, things that need to kind of stay in my body. But we don't want it to be like super yellow. We don't want it to be like clear. We want it to be just a little bit of yellow, right? And I think that's the signal for me where I'm like, all right, cool, I'm there. The best way that I have found to stay kind of on top of that kind of stuff is to get yourself a 30-ounce Nalgene bottle, So I don't know if you ever watch my videos a whole bunch, but like you see this bottle in the background a lot. I take it to the gym with me all the time. And I want to be drinking one of those bottles the second I wake up. Like as soon as I wake up, if you watch my stories, I'll drink coffee, but I'll also down a bottle about this big of water. All right. Very first thing. And sure enough, about 2 hours later, I'm already in the bathroom. I'm like, cool. So like, that's like just purging out stuff. And that's what we need to be doing. We need to be in the bathroom probably every hour and a half, 2 hours. Sounds weird. That's how you're going to be adequately hydrated. So that's step number one. Step number two is you want to get away from added sugars. Okay. And this one's going to require you to look at the label of everything that you buy all the time. You would be very things, and the cover of the pack was like, oh, good looking and healthy, this. And the industry really likes to gravitate to the color green to make anything healthy, but it's the cognizant, it's people's ability to know, turn over the box, look at the label, and decode it, right? That's really important to do. If you cannot sit there and turn over the box and decode it and go, what is going on here? Then you're probably victim to, what you're supposed to be eating, what the world wants you to do. You kind of don't maybe have the free will that you want to have this body that you desire, for example. By turning over that label and being able to decode it, that's a huge, huge advantage that you can take quickly, okay? So you can go tomorrow to your favorite supermarket or Sam's or Costco, turn over the labels of things that you were going to buy. And if you see added sugars or anything like that, anything, let's say over 2 grams of added sugars, I probably wouldn't mess with it. So just look at that kind of stuff. Unless you're at like my level of fitness or something like that, where your body is running at a very efficient level to where you can do these kind of things, I wouldn't mess with it. So I have actually, when I was on the keto diet, I rid myself of all added sugars, and I got lean fast. Like I ripped super fast. I mean, I got into 10% body fat, like no problem. So yeah, but that was me turning over a lot of labels that were on, sauces, labels that were on salad dressings, that were on chips, like all kinds of stuff. And it was really eye-opening. At that point, I realized, like, man, no wonder some of this stuff tastes so good, even though it's healthy. It's really not. The third one that you might want to look into, and this one's in a lot of things too. It's kind of harder to get away from this one, but it's in a lot of things. But that is added oils. All right. So whether it be partially hydrogenated blah, blah, blah oil, or soybean oil, or canola oil, palm kernel oil, like all these oils that are in everything, down to chips, salty snacks. If you can get away from things like that and get more into whole foods, you're going to start seeing your diet game like go through the roof. You're going to start seeing the way that your body processes food and grabs nutrients and minerals. You're going to see it become like a factory. It's going to get super effective. You're going to have more regular bowel movements. Like everything's going to change. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, like everything is really working well. Your energy level is good. So that's when you get to that kind of elite level. And I get there every now and then. It does require a little bit more prep though. That's the only thing. But the most elite level of all time that requires more prep is being able to get as close to your food as possible. All right. So that's the ultimate goal, is to get as close to the source of the food as possible. Because as an old, I don't know if it's an adage or whatever, but food is medicine, right? Before you actually take medicine, try to address it through food, because food truly is medicine. What you put in your body can absolutely change your life, So think about it like that. Those are the 3 tips I wanted to give you: water, added sugars, and added oils, or, foods that have oils in them and stuff like that, which jacks up the fat, which every gram of fat is 9 calories. So like, there's a lot of things that are just, when you eat your diet and you go, am I in a caloric surplus or am I in a caloric deficit? If you're eating bad food, you're probably in a surplus, which means any amount of like, working out that you're trying to do probably irregularly isn't going to offset the constant amount of food that you're putting in your body that is surplus oriented. So the key is to really put good foods in your body that get you on a base, level with calories or even a slight deficit. It's all good. It makes you feel full and you feel great and you feel energized and you don't feel like stressed out to where you're just grabbing candy and stuff or popcorn like every 2 seconds and trying to eat it. We want a lifestyle that we're in control, right? Because when you get in control, you can make big things happen. I get on these crazy rants, guys. It's just what I really care about the most. I want to like help people out as much as I can. But yes, a lot of this stuff that we talk about here will be rolled into some of the fitness products that I have coming out relatively soon. Raphael says, I'm a delivery driver and I work 13 hours a day. Since I started the job, I'm like 40 pounds. All right. So why? I don't know where to start to get my health back. I'm 28 years old. So take my 3 pieces of advice for you. And here's the 4th piece of advice, Raphael, is you're going to want to build your meals. Because my guess is if you're doing a 13-hour day, you're buying your food somewhere else fast. And you're going to places like Chick-fil-A or Boston Market or Taco Bell, places like that. And you might be thinking, no, man, I'm going to places like Subway and like Quiznos, and like it's way better. Like, not really, not really at all. So you want to get closer to your food and you want to prep your own food and stick with, filling type foods, beans and, actual vegetables that you can steam yourself and steam them in big quantities, bake them in big quantities in the oven, broil them, whatever, spice them up with some garlic salt and some good seasonings. Get closer to your meats. Maybe go to a farmer market and buy your meats there and then grill them all up into a ground, whatever, and then get a bunch of Tupperwares together. Maybe, go to Amazon, spend $30 on Tupperwares. Now you got all these Tupperwares that you can put all this food in. It takes prep, but how much do you want to change? That's the real question, because a lot of people go, I want this so bad, but then they act in a completely different way. It makes no sense. So figure out what you want the most, act in accordance to that in every way possible. And I think you'll be okay. It's just people have these dreams and desires, and they're great ones. Don't get me wrong, but they don't act in accordance to those dreams and desires. And so they get frustrated because there's this disconnect. So that's what I'm here for, to help you guys out. But yeah, 40 pounds, gaining 40 pounds is not fun at all. So I would suggest taking my 3 pieces of advice and my 4th piece, which is build your own meals, get close to your food, and take that time. While it might take 2 hours twice a week to do the prep, that's the investment you're going to have to do it within yourself. Now, if you cannot prep and you happen to have a good amount of money, then get with a food prep service like Snap Kitchen. Here in Austin, they have Snap Kitchen. They got all these like food things where you can go there and literally just get the Tupperwares and it has the food in there and everything, the macros and all that kind of stuff. And you can go that direction, but it's a little bit more expensive. But then you don't have to spend any time cooking it or anything. So just know that there are options, okay? But the last option, the last ditch resort is to go to places like Chick-fil-A and Subway and all these places. That should be like the last bottom case resort if you're delivering in some town where you forgot to bring your meals with you and you just happen to forget them one day and you're in some town and there's nothing else to eat but these crappy places. You have to make an exception at that point. Yeah, you're gonna have to eat some crappy food, but I want you to get closer to your food and really appreciate the one body that you get in your life. This is it, guys. Like I always tell people, how different would you treat your body if I told you, let's say, for example, that your body was like a car and you only get one car in your life and this is the car you get. How different would you treat that car? Would you change the oil all the time? Would you even prematurely change the oil before it gets to 5,000 miles, for example? How slow would you drive? Would you take turns real crazy and everything like that? Would you overload it with friends and get, piss ass drunk in the car? For example, like how would you treat that car if that was the last car you got to own in your entire life? And people don't realize that, you've gone through probably 5 to 20 cars at this point in your life, but they don't make the connection that there's only one body that you get, and that body is your vehicle. So think about that for a second. It might blow your mind, but that is what it is. Chris Thomas, I have a question. Can I build a big chest by by just doing a weighted push-up? Yes, you can. A weighted push-up can absolutely build a big chest because it follows the same movement paths as a bench press, for example. Most of it would be a bench press. Now, if you really want to supercharge any sort of push-up, you're going to have to initiate some sort of deficit. Okay, so that means like maybe put a pair of dumbbells on the floor, and you can put dumbbells like this on the floor, or you can put them even upright, and you can put your hands on top of that, meaning that there's even more of a deficit. Now, why is a deficit important? It's because it allows more stretching of the muscle fibers. Remember, this is how a muscle actually gets built and torn. Is you have to, working out is simply stretching out a muscle, right? Here's my pectoral right here, and it's fully stretched. Here I'm in the bench press, right? And I'm fully, here the bar would be hitting my chest. I am fully stretched. Look at that stretch right there. I don't know if I can go any more without my shoulders like popping out. So fully stretched. And then when we're in the bench press, we go up to here. Now, I would love to say we can go to here, but that doesn't occur on a bench press because we're on a barbell. So we get from here to here. And why a bench press is such a powerful movement, for example, and so is a push-up, is because we can go from here to here. And all the things that are helping us get to here, look at the front deltoids working. And then that last like 30%, the tricep engages, right? So a push-up, if weighted and in a deficit, is absolutely amazing because now you're getting full recruitment of muscle fibers and you get to push all the way up, boom, like that. And you can definitely get some really good chest gains from doing a deficit, even a mild deficit, standard push-up weighted with a backpack on your back with some weight in it, or your friend just putting his foot on your back or stacking plates on your back. Yeah, you can absolutely get an awesome chest by doing that. Just make sure that your form is dialed in and that when you're going down, that you're not going down with your elbows out or anything like that, but you're coming down and you're sucking in your elbows to take some of that stress off your shoulders. And that way you can still deliver that nice, extreme stretch to the chest right here. It's also one of the reasons why people like dumbbells for fine tuning, is because you can even get a more wilder stretch because now you're not committed to a barbell anymore. You have a more free movement here. So now with your own body's like kind of biomechanics, you can just kind of do this, like see how this is, like if there's a barbell, there's no way this would occur. Like, so with dumbbells, I can go like this, I can come up here into the pyramid and I can converge at the top, which you cannot do with a barbell. When you converge at the top, then it's like all this muscle comes through. See this ridge right here? All that goes through. And, you can do some really good work with that. But that's more of like a fine tuning kind of thing. Because when you're doing dumbbells in a chest position, a lot of times the shoulders aren't activated as much. And the triceps not as much as well. So bench press always as first line of defense if you're trying to build a big chest, incline, decline, and standard. And then if you want to fine tune and get that ridge and all that kind of stuff, use dumbbells or fly motions or cables. So anyway, more questions. Heather, so when you eat out, what do you order most that's not bad oils? All right, so when I eat out, I'm on a mission. And it's probably a cheat meal. That's just the bottom line. All right. So when I have a cheat meal, I'm not exactly super concerned with the macros of anything at that point. So cheat meals are designed to, how do I say it? Kind of reward my central nervous system. They're there to reward just overall hormones and everything like kind of going back up again. And so I'll usually have a meal that is very atypical of what I would consume. And it feels good, and I enjoy every piece of it. And sometimes if a standard meal of mine takes, let's say, 800 calories, I might go as far as 100% over par, which is like 1,600 on a meal, for example. Like if I'm just like, I'm going all out, boom, I'll go, at a burger place is one of the easiest places to go all out. It's even easier than a pizza bar. And here's why. Because, just getting a burger alone and everything is probably about 800 to 900 calories. Standard burger with all the fixings. And, every one of these towns now has buffalo cheeseburger and like buffalo this and like all kinds of weird stuff and provolone cheeseburger. So it's way better than a normal burger. So you have to get it. And, those things can creep up to 800, 900, sometimes even 1,000 calories just for one burger. All right, not a big deal. And then if you supercharge it with, let's say, some fries, that's typically in the 500 to 700 calorie range. So now we're at 1,500, 1,700 calories. And then if you just add that milkshake to it, boom. Now you've got a meal that's around 2,400, 2,300 calories in about 2 seconds. So I am very careful when I ingest meals like that. I'm planning them throughout the day. I'm like, all right, I know I'm going to this place getting a burger. You get incredible milkshakes. Their fries are pretty good. Basically what I do is I eat extremely light until that final meal. So when Heather had that remark, When you eat out, what do you order most that is not bad oils? When I'm eating out, I'm on a mission to know that that's the cheat meal, basically. There are only some other times where I go eat out. I guess I go to Bolden Creek Cafe, which is a vegetarian vegan cafe here in town, and I will have something that's relatively healthy, but it's still pretty good because I'm not making it and it's their spices and whatever. So I don't know if I consider that a cheat meal per se, but it is nevertheless semi-atypical. So I'm all about, hitting all the important facets of fitness or mental game or whatever. And I really think that I used to think that there were 5. And when I start working on the products to hone them to what they need to be, there's definitely 5 core ones. And I bet you there's about 10 real big ones that I want to talk about on one of my products. So, yeah, I try to do 90% as good as I can on those 10 things. And that allows me to do the cheat meal. I mean, I'm good. Like, my mind's not stressed out about it. Boom, I know exactly how to get back into, like, my way, and then I'm good to go. So call it a gift or whatever, but I'm pretty sure I can teach it to you guys. Raphael says, thank you, man. I have to get control and plan my food. Absolutely. Go for it. Just admitting these things, Raphael, is such a big deal. And to come out here, even on a live show, and put a comment like, do 13-hour days and I gained 40 pounds and I don't know how to start to get my health back. One of the easiest ways to really start curbing your life around is to saturate yourself with the subconscious image that you want to become. So to train yourself that you're a muscular Raphael in your head, that's one thing. You should be thinking those things all the time, by the way. But you can influence your subconscious through meditation and through all kinds of stuff, auto-suggestion, NLP. But to really carry it out in real life is another story. And that's where things like Instagram can actually be a huge help. I mean, like, start following fitness people and people that are like, preparing awesome meals in like 5 or 10 minutes that are healthy. Saturate your life with these kind of people. When you're in your delivery vehicle, if you can listen to radio and it's not like against the rules or anything, listen to like healthy podcasts and like fitness podcasts and stuff like that. There are many ways to gravitate yourself towards this subconscious version of what you will become. Just don't give up on it. A lot of people, 99% of people are going to give up on it. They're going to be like, yeah, but I couldn't become that. I can do that. I really know. And then next thing they know, like in the next fleeting moment, they're like, oh yeah, cool. My friend just invited me to a party and I got to bring some like cake and ranch and you're screwed. Like, you have to really think about it. Like, every single moment has to be dialed in, and not to the point where you're like this annoying person that won't like eat a carb or anything like that, but to the point where you realize you owe it to yourself so much that it becomes a mission. Like, it's like I don't know, like, I didn't get great grades through college because I didn't care about anything in college outside of girls and parties, let's be honest. But when I got out of college and I had an opportunity to go to an MBA school and I took it, and it was actually like a degree that I cared about, like a master's that I got to pick on my own that I wanted, then I made like a near 4.0. I made like a 3, like 8.7 or 3.9 or something like that on every class, So it just shows you that if you care about something enough and you saturate yourself in it, and a lot of these books up here are finance books and trading books, it just shows you what can happen, and it just was something that I wanted to do, and I saturated my life in it, and I got a result. I got an MBA and I got great grades and it was awesome. Heather the Reseller. Dumbbells are cheap to buy too. They feel awesome, like Chris said. Yeah, you can buy adjustable dumbbells, and that's probably one of the better things to do. If you're a lady out there and you're looking for adjustable dumbbells, I would honestly say something that's from 5 to 25 pounds is like suffice for everything out there that you need to do. Males, I would say get a set that can go from like 10 to 55 or so. And if you're exceptionally strong, get one that goes from like 10 to 90. But those are kind of like absurd. It's better to just join a gym at that point. But yeah, if you're into the home gym thing and you have really good discipline, adjustable dumbbells are the way to go. They take up less space. They're fun. Yeah, so they can cost a little bit up, but go to your Facebook marketplaces and your Craigslist and find someone that's like unloading a set. You should be able to get a set of 10 to 50 pound dumbbells for no more than $200 if you hunt really hard on Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Those kind of things will run you $350 to $400 on Amazon or eBay or whatever. And then for the lower weights, 5 to 25 pound increments, like adjustability, those you can find for 10 to like $50 on resale avenues. So check that out. So that is pretty much the show. I wanted to make sure that I gave as much value as I could in the 40 minutes. I was supposed to be here for like only 30, but an extra 10 minutes is not a big deal. Guys, do not forget to follow me at BODDAMN on Instagram. Check out all my stories too and interact with me. It's a lot of fun, man. There's so many people that interact with me in the background that, I mean, one day we will not be able to get like back to everyone, but at this point I still can. So if you've got a cool fitness question, oh yeah, there is one more question. There's one more. If you have a cool fitness question, then please, hit me up with it. There is one more. Where is it? It came in like literally right before the show. All right. So it's from Joe Espinoza and it said, follows, my account, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to ask you what your general nutrition looks like. All right. So my general nutrition, he goes, I noticed that you substitute a lot of plant-based protein. So I don't substitute. I use plant-based protein. I don't use whey. Whey is a perfect like 100 rated kind of protein when you look at a bioavailability standpoint, like what your body actually takes in. So it's rated like 100. And right under whey, I think, is egg, and then under that is casein, and under that is like random stuff, maybe rice or something like that. Now you can get an amino acid profile similar to whey, like extremely similar, by using plant protein, but you have to use pea and rice. So they have to be kind of combined like 50-50, or it might even be a 70-30. I'm not 100% sure. So the question is also, do you hold to a predominantly plant-based vegetarian or whole foods kind of diet? I do a vegetarian predominantly, but I have included like 1 can of sardines a day, but everything else is pretty much vegetarian. I'm experimenting with this through the bulk to get me back up a little bit. And then when I really want to lean down again, I might just go to like just vegetarian. But I'm not technically vegetarian right now. I'm technically eating some fish, so I'd be pescatarian. If you are on a whole foods kind of diet, like if that's an option for you and you have the time to like cook all this kind of stuff, there's not going to be nothing better than that. Just so you know, that is going to be like the cream of the crop if you can have the time to and money to get into a whole foods kind of diet. He says, thank you for your time out of your day to answer this. I'm curious because I've been dabbling with a vegan vegetarian diet for a couple of years now. If you're dabbling in that, you should be doing fine. He said, I'm really trying to find my own lane to commit to and build a nutritional foundation around. Vegetarian vegan stuff is great. So if you want a diet that is proven decade over decade to be very, very good, you might want to experiment with the Mediterranean diet. But that one includes nuts, legumes, some breads, I think a little bit of cheese, very few cheese, definitely very low on red meat, but high on olive oil and high on omega-3 fatty fish. In a gist, go check it out. I mean, it's definitely a very highly rated diet, so it works and it's cool. But I do the other one thing that I can't really talk about on this channel because I don't have any more time is the power of intermittent fasting. So until next Friday when I do another show, okay, I want you guys to do some research on intermittent fasting and see if it's for you. I've been doing intermittent fasting for almost four years now. Okay, 4. That's a long time. Like when I first started, I remember like how's this going to work? It's kind of stupid. And I remember being in the parking lot of a 24 Fitness, like bringing my first meal with me because I was like, I'm going to be starving after like, if I wake up at 8 and then I have my first meal at like 11, I'm going to be starving without breakfast. And that was 4 years ago. And now I do intermittent fasting. I've got it down to like 7-hour windows and even 8-hour windows. Right now I'm cruising on a 9-hour window. But that basically that means is taking in your calories that you would have taken in into a shorter period of time. And a lot of times it's very easy to introduce a caloric deficit through intermittent fasting. It was one of the easiest ways for me, along with a vegan vegetarian diet with intermittent fasting, to get down to like 9% body fat without doing any HIIT routines, any kind of crazy cardio outside of norm. I mean, it was easy, like brutally easy to get to like 9%. It was kind of stupid. Like I had to stop it. Honestly, I was like, all right, this is actually working way too well. I need to bulk, which is what I'm doing now because I was like, hey, it's easy not to eat as much. It just is when you're having a lot of good food in your system and you do the intermittent fasting thing. It's pretty incredible, and adequate hydration and all that kind of stuff. It starts getting, the results are very, very, very fast. So I wouldn't be surprised if something like that or a hybrid version of that ends up in one of my workout routines as a suggested kind of diet plan, because it absolutely works. That's pretty much the show for today. If you have any more questions, DM me on Instagram, but usually around Tuesday or Wednesday of next week, I'll be putting in, into my stories or even into an actual Instagram post, fitness questions, put them here, blah, blah, blah. And then I screenshot them on my phone and I save them for the show so I can answer them live. So if you had a question that I didn't get to, don't don't get pissed off at me, but I'll try to answer it on the next show. But keep bothering me with that question as you see me throughout the week. Don't forget about my Instagram stories because I'm extremely live on those at BODDAMN on Instagram. Guys, I had a lot of fun hanging out with you, and I wish you guys the best fitness luck out there. Make sure you get a couple cool workouts in next week or whatever, and have some fun this weekend outside if you have the ability to do so. Take it easy. Goodbye.